Hello and welcome to our Saturday yoga class. If you're not watching this on Saturday, welcome to whatever day it is. Hope it's bright and sunny. And my name is Stephanie. If we've never moved together before, welcome. If it's your first time ever doing yoga or doing yoga with me, make sure you checked in with your doctor that you're approved to do a new yoga program. And if you have any injuries, if something doesn't work for you, please modify, take a child's pose or a rest at any time. Never push through any kind of pain. We're moving mindfully here. We're flowing with our breath. We're just getting into our body and opening up, bringing space and awareness inward and tuning in so that we can really connect deeper to ourselves, connect deeper to the people around us, connect deeper to our relationships, and really just finding out where we need to focus our attention. So today we're going to go with the flow a little bit. We'll flow, we'll hold some poses, we'll do a mix of yoga poses today. So welcome. You can start by just finding any comfortable seated position. I'm just on my knees here. You can sit cross-legged, on blocks if you want to have a set of blocks, and a strap, a yoga strap or a belt, whatever you have. Have some props around just in case you need them. Let's just find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes, turn inward a little bit, and just begin to bring awareness to your breath. Seeing if you can focus on the breath flowing in and out through your nose. So closing the lips a little bit. If that's not possible, no worries. If you need to blow your nose, you may want to do that. We're going to start with a little bit of breath awareness and a little bit more centering today. And just see how deep you can pull the breath down into your lower belly. So when you breathe in, expand the belly out. And as you breathe out, recoil and really deflate the air. Push the air out. Pause at each end of the breath. And then inhale deeply through the nose. Notice if your chest is lifting or your shoulders are lifting on that inhale breath. Drop the shoulders down and see if you can focus on the movement happening in the 3D space of your belly and rib cage, nice and low. Pause at each end of the breath just for a moment and then let it go. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, if you can release the teeth and maybe just release the tongue a little bit. Soften your eyes. And we're going to do a little bit more awareness with our breath. We're going to take our thumb and our second finger, and we're going to place them one at a time for alternate nostril breathing. So I actually like to take, my thumb and middle finger as my plugging fingers, and the second finger, the index, I like to rest it on my third eye, just to kind of give me an anchor point so I'm not holding my hand on my shoulder. It doesn't hurt me. So whatever hand you feel comfortable with, we're going to be going in through one nose, plugging the opposite nose, breathing in through the left, and then out through the right, and then going back to the left. So we'll do this for maybe 5 rounds or so. So you might want to blow your nose, sit nice and comfortably. And you'll start just by resting your index finger on your third eye, if that feels comfortable for you. You're going to plug your nose on the left and breathe in through the right. So breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. Now plug your right nostril and release your left nostril and breathe out through the left nostril for 3, for 2, for 1, And then breathe in through your left nostril, all the way in for 3, 2, 1, and then plug your left nostril, open the right one, and just let the air out through the right side for 3, for 2, for 1. Breathe in through the right nostril for 3, for 2, for 1. Plug the right nostril, open the left, breathe out for 3, for 2, for 1. We'll do a few more rounds. I'm not going to guide you through the count you, so just keep going with that. In through the side, out through the side, plugging. So we're just breathing alternately through each nostril, balancing out the midline, balancing out our brain. You'll find that one side is a little bit more blocked than the other. Usually they take turns, they shift from the left side and the right side. So just noticing it. Breathing down to the belly. Okay, let's do another full round each side. When you're done that last side, just bring your hands back to your knees. Continue breathing now through both nostrils, just breathing in. Notice if the nasal breath is different than when you started, if you're able to breathe in more air, if it feels more spacious in the sinuses. If you need to blow your nose again, that's fine. Do what you have to do. Amazing. Let's just move our body in little circles, leading with the shoulders. So trying to create a figure 8. I want you to flow with this. Just start to feel your shoulders moving, your rib cage moving. You can close your eyes and just do whatever your body is looking to do right now. So you can let your head drop down, you can move back in space, you can make circles. I just want you to move the torso in any which way that feels intuitive for you. Just kind of getting more in touch with the rib cage and the breath. Knowing and feeling where it might feel more stuck, and then maybe switching directions if you chose to make circles. If you want to make the movement a little bit bigger. Don't worry how it looks. Just move with the flow of your body. Just imagine you were a tall tree blowing in the wind. How would that look like? How would that feel? Would you allow yourself to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more Gumby-like? Good. Do a few more. And we're going to do the same thing on the hands and the knees. So finish up here. Come into a nice stillness. Come on to hands and knees wherever you are. And let's start to move in that same flowing pattern. Slowly coming forward a little bit. And then flowing back. So child's pose. Anytime you can come here. Flow forward with the spine. Open the chest. Exhale, lead with the tail. Drop it back. You can move as slowly or as fast as you'd like to move here, but the slower you kind of move, the more you can kind of feel the crevices that need opening. Good. So just moving with the flow of your spine. And then finding those movements, the sides to side shifting, maybe forward and back. Maybe you're moving the elbows like you're a cat. Forward, down. I like to think of my rib cage licking the inside of a honey pot and just scraping the sides. This is where I feel pretty tight in my thoracic spine. And just noticing any pops or crackles. Allowing the tail and the hips to move a little bit. Do a few more rounds of whatever you're doing. The head can move with you. Just allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to do something that's a bit less structured, less rigid and pose-like. It's just free form, mindful movement. Let's do another. All right. Come back to a nice neutral spine. Take your hands down below the shoulders. Really spread your fingers. Grip your mat and soften your elbows just a little bit. Spread your toes, tuck them under. And let's do a few cat-cows here with the knees hovering off the floor. So press into the hands, shoulder blades come apart, hover the knees off the floor, and just tuck your tail under, push the floor away. Deflate all the air. Then inhale, gently arch the back. You can always do this on your knees. You can always come down. Just want to get a little bit deeper, a little less engaged. That's totally fine. Deflate the air. Inhale, flow forward. Exhale. Inhale, arch. Do a few more. Then we're going to press ourselves back into a downward facing dog. Walk your feet back a little bit further. Take a longer stance. And just start to move a little bit. Pedal at the feet. Bend the elbows a little bit. Nice and slow. Shift from forward to back. From side to side. Even move your hips a little bit in this circular motion. Kind of like you're dancing with the floor. Good, go the other way. Amazing. If you just want to hold a nice downward dog, press your hands firmly into the floor. Slight bend into your knees. Reach your hips back and down and up to the sky. Let the shoulders drop away from your ears so they're sliding down your back. And firm up your belly a little bit. Pull it up toward the sky. Good. Let's lift up the heels. Flow forward into a nice plank position. Good. Let the knees drop down. Let the hips drop down. Lift the heart. And then we'll do the opposite. Tuck the chin. Roll yourself up. Lift the knees. Lift the hips. Downward dog. Good. Slowly lift the heels. Roll your spine forward. Allow those knees to drop down. The hips to roll forward. Shoulders roll back. Lift up the chest. Tuck the chin. Roll the spine up. You can curl over your toes if that's available to you. Press back. Let's do one more here. Lift the heels. Roll yourself forward like a curling and unfurling of an aloe plant. Lift up. Exhale, tuck the chin, lift the belly, lift the core. Press back. And let's walk the feet forward toward the hands. Nice and slow. Bring your feet about hip distance apart and take your hands underneath your feet. Just to get a nice wrist stretch here. Good. Slight bend in your knees. If this is not accessible for you, you can just come up with blocks. That's totally fine. Your toes are in the creases of your wrists, so you spread your fingers. Bend the knees a little bit, bounce around. And then take a big breath in. See if you can reach the heart forward, expand through the chest, even in this position. And as you exhale, pull your hands from under your feet, but keep them there. So you're trying to pull them, but your feet are keeping them grounded. Good. Shoulders come away from the ears. The knees can be bent. Shake off your head. Let all that tension go. Good. Take another breath here. And then release your hands. Come onto fingertips or blocks or hands on your shins, whatever you need to. Let's lift halfway up. Reach the heart and spine forward. Breathe in. Exhale, fold. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Reach the heart forward. Reach the hips back. Exhale, fold deeper. One more here. Inhale, press to rise. Lift the belly. Reach the heart. Exhale, fold. Let's stand all the way up. Press and inhale on your way up. Bring your hands to your heart. And let's reach up again. Inhale and reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Lead with the heart. Let the chest drop down. Inhale, lift up all the way. Exhale, fold. This time, stand right up to the top. Breathe in. Arch the back a little bit. Hands to chest. One more like that. Breathe in. Reach up. Full breath. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, half lift. This time, bend the knees. Plant the hands, step, walk, or hop your feet back into a plank position. Spread those fingers. Tuck the tail. Draw your hands to your feet to your hands. You can either bring your knees down to the floor for your chaturanga, or you stay up on your toes and start to bend your elbows in slowly by the rib cage, coming down to the floor. Point your toes back. Roll your shoulders back. Slowly inhale, lift. Let's do 3 little cobras. Roll the chest forward, and then lower down. Good. If you'd like to come onto fingertips, this is what I like to do. Roll the shoulder heads back. Tuck the tail, lift up a little bit higher each time. Gentle, gentle. And then roll down. Good. One more here. Breathe in. Roll the chest forward. Open up the heart. And exhale. Good. Plant your palms. Lift your shoulder blades up onto your back. Tuck the tail and really push either into your knees or your toes. Press yourself up into a nice plank. And then come back into a downward dog. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Pedal out the heels. If you want to do a little bit of a twisting here as you're pedaling out the feet. Feel like your armpit is reaching away from your hip. Good. And then on your next breath in, look forward. Exhale the breath, step, walk, or hop your feet forward to the front of your mat. Lift and spread your toes. And then inhale, reach the heart forward. Breathe in. Exhale, fold. Let the head drop. Breathe in, reach to the sky. Let's do that one more time. Full flow. Exhale, full forward. Swan dive down. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step, walk, or hop back into a plank position from knees or toes. Tuck the tail, bend the elbows in, keep the chest open, 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 open. Cobra, tuck the toes, point the toes, inhale, lift up. Exhale, slow down, 2 more, roll yourself up. Just a little bit, roll and then down. 1 more, roll yourself up. And then come down. Plant the palms, Tuck the toes under, shoulder blades up on your back, press up into a nice plank. Come back into your downward dog. Stay and hold or pedal out the feet. Grip into your mat so you can feel your finger pads, your knuckles, your thumbs drawing into the mat. Very good. Then we're going to look forward. Exhale the breath, step, walk, or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold down. Let's breathe as you reach to the sky all the way up. Release the palms. This time we're going to come into Utkatasana chair pose. So hips go back and down. Inner thighs reach back. Low belly zips up and in. Arms can reach forward. You can keep them by your hips. Let's just hold and breathe. Spread the toes. Good. For another 3, 2, 1. Fold forward. Good. Lift the heart halfway up. Going into a full Surya Namaskar B. Step, walk, or hop the feet back into a plank. Bend the elbows right by the sides. Inhale, lift the heart up for cobra or an upward dog, pressing the tops of the feet. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, you can come down through chaturanga. Press up to a plank. Push your hips back. We're going to lift the right leg up to the sky. Open the hip a little bit, just see what's happening in that right leg. And then step it forward between the hands. Lift up the back heel. Reach the arms up. Breathe to the sky. You can take a couple breaths here. Square off the hips so they're both facing forward. Good. Press the big toe out of the back foot. Pull that right hip back, left hip forward. Just feel that strong strength from the inner hips. Soften those shoulders down, but expand out through the fingertips. And let's fold forward. Step the right leg back. Find a vinyasa flow. You can either meet in down dog or go into a cobra, upward dog. Good. And pressing up through plank. Meeting in your downward dog, lifting your left leg up to the sky. Just hanging out here for a breath or two. Waking up that left leg, left hip. And then look forward, step it between your hands. Find a nice crescent pose. Lift up the back heel, find your balance. Reach the arms up. Open up the front of the chest and the heart. Expand out through the fingertips. Good. Couple breaths here. Good. On your exhale, bring your hands back down to the floor. Step that left leg back, meet in child's pose, down dog, or take a vinyasa through. Lift the heart. Tuck the toes under, chaturanga, or just meet in that downward facing dog. Stay here for a few breaths. Nice. We're going to do one more round on each side. When you're ready, look forward between the hands. Bend the knees, step, walk, or hop your way all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach to the sky all the way, gather the sun. And then come back into an Utkatasana. Push your hips back and down. Reach the arms forward. Spread the sit bones, lift the low belly. Just breathe for another couple breaths. Reach the spine super long. On your next exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, half lift, reach the heart forward. Exhale, plant the hand, step, walk, or hop both feet back into a nice plank. Bend the knees on the floor, or just come down into a chaturanga. Bend those elbows. Point the toes. Inhale, lift the heart. Up dog. Exhale. Tuck the toes from knees or toes. Press back into downward dog. Right away, lift the right leg up to the sky. Step it between the hands for your crescent pose. Plant the foot. Lift the arms up. Take a breath. Square those feet off. Square the hips off. Press into the floor and reach up from the fingertips. Good. Lift up the heart. And then bring the hands back down. Meet in a nice down dog or do a vinyasa here. Feel free to skip the vinyasa. Down dog, up dog. And then when you get back into your downward dog, lift the left leg up. Look forward, step it between the hands. Good, lift up the back heel, scissor the legs together. Good, tuck the tail, reach the arms up. Sit here for a couple breaths. Press out through the legs. Feel a nice stretch to the front of the thigh. Good, let's meet back down through vinyasa, or just meet in a down dog or a child's pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, meet back, and just breathe. Good, just warming it all up here. Let's lift the left leg up to the sky, open up the hips. Look forward between the hands, step the left foot between the hands. Drop the right heel in so the back foot is parallel to the short end of your mat. And we're going to come up into a warrior two. So nice and slow, press into the left foot. Reach that right arm behind you and gently lift yourself up into a warrior two. So the left knee is going to bend and track with the middle of that left foot. The right hip, I want you to pull it back a little bit like you're sticking your right bum cheek back, and then tuck the left thigh bone and hip bone under so you can get a little bit deeper. And let's just breathe. Good, we're gonna flow a little bit. So reach the torso from side to side. Notice what's happening, which side feels a little bit more restricted, which side has a bit more movement. Good. Do a couple more. And then we'll lift the left arm up, find a nice reaching back with the exalted warrior. Good, bend that left knee so it's not straining too much. Good. Drop the shoulder down, breathe, come back to warrior two. Hold here. Let's take the left forearm down to the thigh for a side angle pose. So roll the left shoulder back, get a little deeper into that left hip, tuck the pelvis under. Let's do a couple of air guitars here with that right arm. Just flowing it around. Feeling the shoulder in its shoulder joint. And then going the other way. Couple times, big shoulder rolls. If you're a little bit more flexible and advanced, you could always take your left hand down to the floor or down to a block. I like to stay on my thigh. Good, let's just hold it here. Plug that right shoulder blade into its socket. So the arm bone draws into the body, and that allows you to open up and rotate the top right ribs to the sky and the bottom left ribs up to the sky as well. Good, breathe. Press out through that bottom foot, the right foot, and reach out through the right arm. Feel that expansion. Let's come back up through a nice warrior two. And then straighten the front leg here. We're gonna go into a triangle pose. If you need a block, grab the block on the outside of the left foot, reach the left arm forward, shift forward, and then bring that left hand down. Wherever you'd like to be. I know both legs super active. I want you to think of reaching the right thigh bone back and the left butt cheek wrapping underneath you. And as you press out through both legs, open, expand across the chest. If this is ever too much, you can go back to that side angle pose. Your gaze can be down to the floor if you need to. Nice, feel a nice stretch in the back of that right hip. Amazing. We're going to take this into a half moon pose. So look down, gently bend the knees. You can use a block on the left side. Gently hop that right foot in a couple times or just lift and float it up. And a balance here on that left leg. Amazing. I like to gaze just a little bit ahead of the mat here. Right leg super strong, left knee a little bit bent. You can stay in this pose or bend the back knee, grab onto the foot if it's available for you. Get a little bit more opening in the thigh. Level twos, if you want to grab onto the foot with both hands, feel free to try. Amazing. Breathe in and press up through the foot if you're holding on to it. Gently release the foot. We're going to come up for a balance pose. So gently bend the knee, come up to standing. Balance on the left leg. I'll face you. You're going to bring that right knee up to your chest. Hold it in. Good. Roll the ankle a couple times. Amazing. So you're going to hold on to the knee here with the left hand. Reach that right arm out to the side. Start to twist over to the right. So standing twist. For those that want to grab onto the foot instead of the knee, you can grab onto the foot and find a nice twist out to the side. Good. Come back to center. Let's let that right knee bend. Bring it onto the left thigh. Flex the ankle and sit back into a little chair pose. Nice, opening up the hip a little bit. For those that would like to do a balance pose, you can stay here or come down and hook your left tricep under your toes. You can find a little balance pose here. If you're a little bit more advanced, feel free to lift up the back leg and kick it back behind you. Woo. If not, just stay here, fingertips on the floor. Opening up the hip and then just coming up, releasing the foot and bringing it down. Good, shake it all off. Let's flow back into a downward dog. Reach the arms up to the sky. Fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold, bend, walk or step your feet back into a plank. Bend the knees, either drop down to the knees or come into a chaturanga. Inhale, find an upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, back through downward dog. Press yourself all the way back. Good. This time, let's lift the right leg up to the sky. Open up the hip a little bit. Keep those shoulders nice and square. And then look through between the hands, step that right foot between the hands. Pivot the back heel down on the floor. Coming up into a warrior two. So ground to that right leg, strengthen the back leg, and gently, slowly press up into your warrior two. So that right knee is tracking and bending around top of the heel, tracking with the middle of your foot. The back foot isn't rolling, you're pressing the inner edge of that left foot, and we're trying to bring that left thigh bone backward in space, like you're sticking your butt back, and then you're tucking that right hip and thigh underneath you. So that's gonna allow the hips to open up a little more. Let's just breathe here for a few breaths. Maybe each time going a little bit deeper. Good. Start to shift your torso right and then left. Make it as small or as big as your body allows. Just getting into any of the spots that might feel stuck. Let's do a couple more times. Good, and then we'll go into an exalted warrior. So come back to center, reach the right arm up, slide the left hand down the back leg. Bend the front knee so it tracks with the middle of your foot again, so keep pushing it out more than you want to. Feel the side of your body strengthening, lengthening. And then come back through center. Right forearm comes down to the thigh. Let's do a couple of air guitars, side angle pose, opening up. Make sure that bottom shoulder isn't poking forward. Pull that shoulder back. Turn, circle. Good, let's do a few in the other direction. So even allowing the torso to kind of turn as you do this. Good, and next time you come over the left ear, keep that position, flip your palm back, your thumb up to the sky, your pinky to the floor, and plug your left shoulder blade onto your back. Good, just breathe into it here. A few breaths. Tuck that right sit bone underneath you and press out through the back leg. Softening the skin. Take one more breath. And then come back up to warrior two. Push through that right heel, come back up. Let's straighten the front leg just for a moment. Press through the big toe mound. We're going to take this into a triangle pose. So reach the arms out nice and long. Pull the belly in. If you need a block, grab it on the right side. Reach forward with the chest. And gently drop that right hand to the thigh, to the shin, or to your block. Left arm can be above you. It can be wherever you want it to be, wherever it feels good. Maybe on the hip, wherever. The gaze is also more challenging as you look up. So if you need to stabilize more, look down to the floor. Feel like your left inner thigh is pushing back and your right inner thigh is wrapping underneath you. Feel that opening, just breathe. Good work. We're going to take this into our Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. So gently bend the knee, hop the back leg in maybe a couple times. And you're going to float that back leg up in space. Good. Hold it here. If you need to grab a block, grab that block. Soften the standing leg a little bit. We'll be here for a few breaths. If you'd like to grab onto the back foot with the hand, grab onto it, roll the shoulder back. Beautiful. Just breathe through this one. If you're holding onto your foot, gently release it. We're going to come up for a nice balancing pose. Slowly, with control, stand up. Keep that left leg floating. Let's hug the knee up into the chest. Hug it up and in. I know the right foot's getting a little tired. Good. Let that left hip drop a little bit lower so it's balanced with the right. Option one is just to hold on to the knee and twist over to the left. Option two is just to grab the foot with the right hand, kick it out in front of you. So it kind of looks like this from the side. And we're opening out for a nice twist. Good. Stay wherever you need to stay for another breath. Come back through center. Bend the knee if it's straight and just cross the ankle over the right thigh. Flex the foot a lot. Okay, so I'll take a couple of stages here. Feel free to just stick with the hip opener. Sitting back into the hips a little bit more. If you want to try that arm balance, you're going to come down a little lower and hook your left foot over the right tricep. Place your hands down on the floor. Rest your left tricep where your knee is and just lean into the hands. The foot doesn't even, not even have to come off the floor, but if it does, it might float back. Even for a second. Good. Hold it wherever you can. Play around with it. Slowly come up. Release the leg. And then shake it off. Let's do one flow here just to balance everything out. Reach the arms up. Fold forward. You can always come into a child's pose or down dog anytime. Lift half. And then step, walk, or hop your feet back into a plank. Lower down to the belly. Curly heart up on your inhale. Exhale, lower down, press up. Find a down dog. And then we'll meet in a child's pose. But if you'd like to stay here for a few more breaths, stay in this down dog. And when you feel ready, let's get into a nice child's pose. Big toes touching, hips back on the heels, reach the arms forward. Let your forehead come down to the ground. Just breathe. Take another breath. Gently walk yourself up. Cross your ankles and sit on your bum. We're going to roll down nice and slow to the floor. Tuck the pelvis under. Take a slow count as you can. Rolling yourself one vertebrae at a time. Notice if your body just wants to drop. Keep it going nice and slow. Reach the arms up overhead. Good. Bring your feet in for a gentle bridge. So you should be able to just reach back for your feet. Feel your shoulder blades planted on the floor. Spread the toes and then ground them down as lift the hips up off the floor. Good. I want you to lengthen the back of your spine. So tuck your tail right between your knees. Hug those inner thighs together. Amazing. Let's see if you can rock your shoulder blades a little bit closer to each other, lifting your chin off your chest so there's space for your neck. And if you can, you interlace your hands underneath you. If that's not possible, no worries, just hold and breathe. Good. When you're ready, slowly lower it down. Take a breath. If you ever need to stretch out your low back, you can just let the knees kind of shift and windshield wipe side to side. That'll always give you a nice release in your lower back. Good. Let's do that again. If you'd like to just do the bridge, do the bridge. If you'd like to take it to the next step and do a full wheel, if you've ever done that before, then maybe you try it. You'll lift up your hips again. You're very welcome to stay right here in this bridge again, interlacing your hands. If you want to take it into the next step, take your palms, flip them back behind your shoulders, squeeze your elbows in nice and tight. And you're going to lift up and press onto your head. Okay, very gently, not too much pressure on the head. Push into the hands, place the top of your head on the floor, and then walk your hands up a little bit closer to your shoulders. From here, tuck your tail and push yourself away from the floor. Good. If this doesn't feel right, come down back and tuck your chin under. Good. Opening up all the breath through the belly, fascia, and chest. When you're ready to come down, tuck the chin, roll yourself down, and take a breath. You can rock those knees from side to side. Good. Let's do that one more time, either the bridge, or maybe you just attempt to come onto the head. Just make sure that you're not cranking your neck back too much. And if you want to go for a second full wheel, feel free to go for that second wheel. Here we go, one more time. Lift the hips. Stay here if this feels good, or take your hands under the shoulders. You're going to press into your palms and lift over the top of your head, and walk your hands a little closer to your shoulders. When you're ready, you're going to press up through the floor, Lift your body, tuck the tail, just breathe. Hug those knees in toward each other. Good. When you're ready to come down, tuck the chin, gently roll yourself down onto the floor. Now let's hug those knees into the chest. Good, take a breath. Notice maybe some energy flowing. If you did your bridges or your wheels, notice any relaxation or excitement that came up. Let's just let the knees drop over to the left here. You want to take your arms out to a cactus or a T. Feel free to gaze over the right side. Taking a nice gentle twist. If this doesn't feel good on your knees, just flex your feet. Or come out. And then slowly to the other side, look over the opposite shoulder. Good, just to release the back a little bit more. Bring your feet a little wider than the mat. Turn the toes in a little bit and allow the knees to drop in toward one another, just to give your low back a little bit of space. Bring your hands onto your belly and just breathe into your belly. Breathe into the lower back. That's it. Now we're going to come up and bring our knees toward our chest. And we're going to do a lying down cow face pose. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Just get the top of your inner thighs as close together as you can. And because we're on our back, it's actually a bit more accessible for most people who lack the flexibility in their lower body. And it takes the pressure out of our knees, which I really like. So right leg cross over the left thigh. Your knees are pretty much almost touching. And for those that are just trying this for the first time, hold on to your knees and feel like you're doing a little bit of a reach with the tailbone toward the bottom of your mat. And then you hug the knees in towards you, almost like you're pulling your knees apart. So you're trying to pull the knees, opening the outer thighs. And for those that want to take this a little bit deeper, the further you reach towards your ankles and your feet, the deeper the stretch gets in your hips. So just play around with where you want to hold on to. I like to flex my feet so that the work happens in my hip muscles rather than my joints. So work wherever you can, but see if you can flex your feet. You're almost trying to push your feet out to the walls on either side of you. So from the front, kind of looks like this. My legs are crossed and I'm pushing my feet out to the opposite sides of the room. If your bum is coming off the floor, if you're lifting your bum off the floor to do this, I want you to pull back a little bit and see if you can get your sit bones reaching forward and down toward the floor. So there's a tiny little space, just the smallest little space under your lower back. Good. A couple more breaths here. See if maybe you can go a little deeper now. Good. When you're ready to release, send both legs up to the sky, send the arms up to the sky. And I just want you to move your arms around like jello, maybe float around and swim in the sky, maybe make circles. Just go with that same flow. Maybe you're like seaweed in the ocean, getting a little bit funky, a little bit weird. Just flow with it. Good. Just allow yourself to move, your limbs to be free. And then we'll go to the other side. So left leg's going to cross over the right thigh. Feel the top of your inner thighs kind of scissoring. Hold on to your knees to start. pull them in so that you get tighter in the inner thighs. Reach your tailbone away, and if you want to go a little bit deeper in the hips, walk your hands down your shins towards your feet, wherever you can grab on. Flex the ankles. And see if you can create as much space from the belly toward the thighs as possible. So we're not squishing into ourselves, but we're creating a little bit of opening and space in our hips. This side might be tighter, might be easier than the last side. Just honor it, notice it, and breathe into it. With every breath out, exhale and release any fascial or ligament tension. Sometimes we clench our jaw when we're doing hip openings, so see if you can release the jaw a little bit. Release the neck and the shoulders. Couple more breaths. Staying with this one. When you're ready to release, lift your arms up to the sky, float it around again. Just move, nice and flowy. Move it around. Feel like you can do anything here. And we're going to take it into a happy baby. So the legs go up. You're going to bend your knees, feet face the sky like you're squatting on the ceiling. Grab onto your feet or the ankles or your heels. Now again, if your bum is coming off the floor, I want you to try to make a little arch in your lower back and reach your sit bones down and toward the bottom of your mat. So you're actually creating a tiny little arch in your low back. You're going to push your feet up into your hands or hands up into your feet. And find the tension in your upper body, lower body, so that the hips can open up a little bit more. For those that would like to straighten the legs out, feel free to get an inner thigh stretch. Wherever your body's telling you to go. Got a few breaths here. Come back to your nasal breathing, especially the exhales. And when you're ready, bring your feet together, soles of your feet together, knees wide. If you'd like to come up a little bit closer towards your feet, you can come up a little bit like a forward fold, or you can stay down on the floor if this is enough. Push your feet together, your knees out apart. If you can get your elbows on the insides of your shins, you can push your knees and thighs apart. Great. Gently release. Hug the knees into the chest. Move them around in circles a couple times just to massage the lower back. And then circle them the other way. Just giving yourself a really nice massage all the way around. Very good. All right. Last thing we're going to do here, we're going to do a little bit of a plow pose. You're going to press your hands into the floor, lift your chin off of your chest, and then lift your hips up. Do this maybe a couple of times. Good. And then eventually, if it feels okay for you, you're going to lift your hips up, bring your hands to your lower back. Bring your elbows a little closer together, chin is off your chest. And you want to lift your feet up. Maybe the feet touch the floor, maybe they don't. And that's okay. If this does not feel good, I just want you to come back down and hug your thighs like you're doing a forward fold. You can bring your thighs in a little closer. If you feel a bit more safe here with your feet behind you, hold and breathe for a few breaths. Chin off your chest to protect your low neck. with your hands at your lower back, you're going to lift one leg up to the sky for shoulder stand, other leg up to the sky. If shoulder stand is not working for you, you can do legs up the wall, or you can just have your feet up to the sky. It's just a nice inversion to allow the blood to flow down, which we've been doing the past 5 minutes or so. But your chin really comes off your chest here. Your feet are right on top of your hips. Good, another breath or two. When you're ready to come down, you can bring your feet back overhead and roll down slowly. Or a little bit more advanced, you can take your hands down to the floor and roll down with control, one vertebrae at a time, till your feet come down to the floor. We're going to find our final resting pose in Shavasana. If you'd like to grab a blanket or a bolster for under your knees or an eye pillow, if you feel like you're going to be cold, maybe you've got some socks on. And let's just find our final resting pose. Maybe turn the toes in and out a few times. Move the flesh away from your hips. Let your palms just come away from your body and flip them up if that feels comfortable. And then just allow your body to release the shoulders, the neck, the face, the jaw, the eyes, the forehead. And then working our way down the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the chest, the belly, the lower back, the hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your shins, your ankles, your toes, and all the skin surrounding your body, everything being supported by the floor. Just melt right down, letting everything go, everything integrate, just flow with whatever breath is present. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. If you could stay longer or like to stay in Shavasana, feel free to tune me out. Just continue breathing. If you're ready, to slowly move your head from side to side. Start to wiggle your fingers, and your toes, the ankles. And when you're ready to reach those arms up overhead, feet reach really long in the opposite direction. do that one more time. Breathe in. Exhale, let everything go. Good. Plant your feet down on the floor. Shift your hips over to one side and roll yourself into a nice fetal position on your favorite side. Just keep the eyes closed. As you feel ready to press yourself up, keep the eyes closed, gently press into the top hand, roll yourself up with gentle awareness. Come into a comfortable seated position. You can join your hands at the center of your heart. Bow inward, thanking yourself for showing up for this yoga practice today, for turning inward, for going with the flow, for allowing yourself to be and give yourself permission to just move freely and with your breath. What a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.